Welcome back to Special Educators Resource Room podcast. This is Jennifer from Positively Learning. I'm so glad that you're here today. I want to talk about something that I kept reading over and over again in a recent survey. I sent out a survey and you guys responded, and I am listening. It was such helpful information. I'm going to put a link to the survey in the show notes if you'd like to take it. One thing that I noticed was that it wasn't like nothing is working in your classroom. It was more that feeling of, I've been trying lots of things and nothing is working long term, or nothing is working fully. Some things might be helping. Some activities might work for a little while. Some routines kind of stick, but the classroom as a whole just doesn't feel like it's clicking. And that's such a frustrating place to be because it's not like you're starting from zero. It's not like you're not putting in effort. You've downloaded the materials, you've tried different setups, you've tested routines, you're adjusting things, and yet it's not clicking. It just feels like you're piecing things together all day. And over time, that can start to feel like maybe I just haven't found the right thing yet and I'm going to keep searching. Or it can feel like maybe I'm the problem, which we know is not true. Here's what I want to offer you. It's probably not that nothing is working. It's that everything might be working, but it's in isolation. Like you have these different pieces, but they're not connected. And when your independent work routine for students is built on all these disconnected pieces, it's requiring you to hold it all together. So you might be having activities that work, routines that kind of work, materials that students sometimes like, but it's not consistent. So every time something changes, a new activity, a different level, a different group, the system resets. And that's when it starts to feel like I have to reteach everything again. And this is why it feels like nothing sticks, because it's not built to stick. So what do you actually do about it? I've got 3 ideas to offer. And they're not complicated. They're just little shifts that can take it from feeling like we're doing a bunch of random things that are kind of working to a classroom system that is running together. So shift number 1 is to stop treating every task like a brand new thing. We're going to start here because I think this one might be happening the most. I actually did this with intention. I would grab lots of new tasks because I could see like one got my students excited. So I want to capture that joy again. So I was actually doing this one on purpose, but it also can be happening without us even realizing it. So it could look like this. You're finding a task or activity and you're prepping it and you're introducing and students are trying it. And then the next day, you do it all over again with something new. Again, I was doing it on purpose because I thought, oh my gosh, my students actually liked something. Let me try this again. Now, what you actually are doing is you're constantly trying something new, explaining directions, answering questions, helping students get started, reminding them what to do. So even if this new task or activity is great, it can still feel like work. And students experience what it feels like for students is, wait, what do I do here? How does this one work? What happens when I finish? So instead of getting faster or feeling like students are working more independently, they're staying dependent on you. So let's say Monday you're introducing an activity, you model it, students try it, it's a matching task. Tuesday, maybe it's a different activity, same topic, but now it's a sorting task. So you're explaining how to do it again. Wednesday, a worksheet. You're explaining how to do it again. Thursday, you're thinking, why aren't they getting this topic? But they're not getting it because that experience just kept changing every day. So the shift we could try, instead of here's something new, we want them to feel like we already know how this works. That is the goal. So this could look like Monday. Students sit down, open their bin or folder or binder. They take out the task, complete it, put it somewhere, move on. Tuesday, students sit down. They open their bin, folder, binder. They complete it. They put it somewhere. They move on. You see where I'm going? The flow doesn't change. So then when you do give them something new, it doesn't actually feel brand new because the process is familiar. Okay, shift number 2. I just want to say these 3 different shifts all kind of sound the same And they all kind of sound like I'm contradicting myself. I promise I'm not. When I planned this out, I kept trying to work through it. Shift number 2 is keeping the routine the same even when the work changes. Okay, so shift number 1 was about how tasks are introduced. Shift number 2 is about the routine those tasks live inside. I know another objection might be listening to this thinking, this sounds really boring. Students are going to get tired of doing the same thing. They're going to get bored. That's going to make everything worse. Please stay with me. Here's what's happening. We've been talking about stopping all that constant newness. This is what's going to replace it. This is where some classroom routines often get stuck. Even when we're trying to put routines in place, there are still parts of it that are changing and we might not even know it. It could end up looking like we're slightly changing the setup each day. Maybe there's a different starting point or a different finishing point. And those changes can disrupt the routine, even if they're super small. So here's what it might look like. One day, students are grabbing their work from the bin. But the next day, you're handing it out to them. And then another day, it's on their desk when they come in, or they're rotating to a center. So each one of those had a slightly different starting behavior with a slightly different expectation. And that can disrupt the routine. It can create hesitation. So we want to keep the routine the same every time. So students always know where to go, how to start, what to do, what happens next. So let's say your routine is sit down, open your bin, complete 2 tasks, put finished work in a tray, check your work. That does not change. So whether the task is matching, sorting, reading, math, SEL, life skills, whatever, students don't need new instructions. It works really well because that repetition is going to build up speed. It's going to build up independence. It's going to build up confidence. So students might not resist working so much. And they're going to stop needing you to guide them on every step. All right, shift number 3 is going to answer that boredom objection. This is the last shift. And again, I'm just going to say it one more time. Sounds like these all are kind of the same. You don't need to do them all. It can be really helpful to try some of these out or to use them for troubleshooting. Okay, the boredom objection. You might be thinking, if I keep changing things and keep things interesting, students are going to stay engaged. That is what I tried. So we end up rotating lots of different tasks, lots of different formats, lots of new things. But what's actually happening is all that variety is requiring more thinking. And not like academic thinking, but more like, what am I supposed to be doing thinking? It's requiring students to think, what do I do? How does this work? What's different this time? And we know many students are not willing to take that risk. This is where independence can really break down because students are spending all their energy figuring out the task instead of completing it, or they're not bothering. So when we talk about boredom, I do want to challenge that. We want students to have tasks that feel familiar, predictable, doable. So instead of 10 different types of tasks, you might have 3 different types: matching, sorting, multiple choice, whatever's appropriate. And then you're rotating the content inside that system. This can work because students are thinking, I know how to do this. And that success is going to build momentum, and momentum builds independence. You don't have to stay there. It's not like you're only picking 3 types and sticking with them for the whole year. There's so many fun activities to do. We just don't want to be doing them all in the same week. When all of these different shifts come together, you don't suddenly get this perfect classroom, but it can start to feel more stable. Things don't fall apart as easily. Students aren't depending on you as much. You're not constantly piecing everything together. Things start to feel more manageable. You are not missing anything. This isn't about more ideas, new strategies, more activities you need to go search for. It's about having a system that's going to connect what's already going well, what you're already doing. So I have one action step for you this week. You're just going to observe. Where are students pausing and waiting on you? Just pick one place. We want to make it more obvious, more predictable, more self-running. You don't need to fix everything. I hope this helps. I can't wait to hear what you think. I am going to put a link to the survey in the show notes, and please know I am listening and I am cheering you on. I'll catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.